Would you like to work closer to home, save money on gas, and be rewarded for your hard work and attendance? Then Bellisio Foods is looking for you. That's right, Bellisio Foods is now hiring for multiple positions and shifts with great employee benefits, an on-site health clinic, competitive wages, and advancement opportunities. Bellisio Foods is a company that truly values their employees. Apply online at belisiofoods.com/careers.
At Vinton County National Bank, we believe in supporting the areas where we live and work. Now, we'd like to honor those who also serve our communities. Our new Community Champions account is especially for first responders, veterans, active military, and anyone employed in the fields of healthcare or education. This account offers rewards, discounts, and other benefits to those who give so much to others. Vinton County National Bank, rewarding those who serve.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the morning show right here on Main Street TV, where we have a couple of handsome guests here in the studio this morning.
Thank you.
And, well, you're welcome. Look at you all. No, we're going to talk about John over here has two hats he's going to put on this morning, and we're going to talk about something fun coming up with a cruise in, but first and most importantly, you two are here to talk about something else on the ballot. Yesterday we had the Phil, and he was here to talk about aggregation and that situation with the commissioners and all that. That will be something that you're voting on. And so another issue that you'll be voting on this ballot would be the senior citizens levy. So first off, could you tell everybody who you are?
Sure. My name is Bill Martin. I'm a mostly retired lawyer. This is John Smith. We're both on the board of the local senior citizens organization. I might mention that when I started out senior citizens, I didn't know what kind of organization ran senior activities in the county. And it turns out that the name of the organization is Jackson County Board on Aging, Inc. It's a nonprofit corporation, actually, and we have a relationship with Jackson County by which we provide senior citizen services in the county. The county itself, the commissioners, do not directly provide such services. The Board on Aging provides the services. We just call ourselves senior citizens. In order to fund...
Wait, are you a senior citizen yet?
I don't admit to that.
What about you, John?
Yes.
In order to fund our operations, we're authorized to have tax money. It's the tax levies. We have two operating tax levies. And by operations, I mean that's how we run our day-to-day activities. And the tax levy that's up for renewal this year is the second of two tax levies. You may remember, taxpayers no doubt remember, that they just recently voted on a senior citizens levy. That was the first of two operating levies, and this is the second. We need both to keep going. And the tax levy that's being voted on is a tax levy that taxpayers have paid now for several years. So we're just asking for a renewal of that obligation. Yes. I'm going to talk in a few minutes, if I may, about the difference between renewal and replacement levies, because that's kind of critical this year, especially after everybody received their letters in the mail that says, we're getting the increase in tax valuation. Yeah,
that's a whole other story we'll get into at some point.
If I may, I'd like to talk a little bit about our activities to refresh the folks out there. My favorite activity for senior citizens is the home delivered meals. Those are meals that are prepared in our kitchen, our commercial kitchen. They're sealed in trays, and the trays are placed on racks, and the racks are put in a van. So we have a bunch of hot meals sealed up, and then the vans go out into the rural community and distribute these as home delivered meals. And a lot of seniors, we're finding, are able to kind of stretch that meal into kind of 2 meals, meal and a half or 2 meals.
Okay.
So it's important for those folks. There are some folks out there that it's an important source of their nutrition during the week.
Sure.
And we have a list of people who get the meals, and as a qualification, you have to kind of run through a test to get on the list. And one of our favorite things to do during the year, if we're having a good year and we have a little extra money, is to take somebody off that waiting list and put them on the list to receive the meals.
That would be
because
fantastic.
that is something that we are doing, which is a positive good in the community. A lot of people have relatives who receive these meals. I think they would probably agree with us. So we need those tax levy dollars to keep these operations at the current level, and hopefully, and we'll be able to figure out some fundraising ideas and get that increased. We have also meals served cafeteria style in our 3 senior citizen centers in Wellston, Oak Hill, and Jackson. So if we add the home delivered meals and the cafeteria meals together, it's about 42,000 meals a year.
Wow, that's a lot.
For our seniors.
And John cooks them all, right?
And John cooks them all. Our kitchen and van resources can accept more capacity for home delivered meals, so it's really important that we at least do not lose our current funding. In addition, we do transportation for seniors. Most people, I think, have seen those white vans with Jackson County senior citizens on the side. That's a transportation van. It's got people in it. And there are regular routes that are run. Cincinnati, Columbus, Ashland, where the medical centers are.
Oh, wait, you don't just stay in town.
No. The seniors will have, they'll cluster their doctor appointments, say, in Columbus, to the regular route that the van has to go up there. So that way they'll be able to get their doctor's appointments, and we'll be able to run routine routing there. Also, we take seniors for necessary shopping and recreational activities. Another statistic I've got on my sheet here, our transportation is about 200,000 miles driven per year. That's a lot of van miles. That's a lot of miles to put on a vehicle. And of course, you need funding to maintain that level of transportation for folks. I might say on this recreation thing, we had something happen this past year that was kind of interesting.
Okay.
The Wagon Wheelers Square Dance folks have a square dance hall. Most of us know in Jackson where the Wagon Wheelers Square Dance Hall is, and they felt that they couldn't really handle the logistics of keeping it going, so they asked us if we would like to take it over, basically for the condition we continue to call it Wagon Wheelers Square Dance Hall, and those folks could square dance in there whenever they wanted. Well, we said, deal, that's something that we would like to get into. So I think it's for like $1. We acquired the Square Dance Hall. So we now have the Square Dance Hall, and I assure you that the square dancers have regular square dances in there.
They're still a square dancer.
They're still at it. And
because you guys do that too, right?
No,
I don't think we do. I personally couldn't do that.
If you did, you have to let me know because I will be there with the camera.
Okay.
Go ahead. I digress.
Oh, you just threw me off. That's all right. I don't. So anyway, the Senior Citizen Center, we're going to have activities, recreational dance activities, I think it is, and for Thanksgiving. We'll have an activity for Christmas in the Square Dance Hall. So that's the use we're making of it. Several times a year we get our seniors in there. Also, it's an event venue for which we charge rent.
I was going to ask you, can people still rent it?
Yes, absolutely, they can.
Yes, they can.
And that will help us defray the expenses of maintenance, upkeep, and so on.
Yes.
I might say that one major project that John was intimately involved with was getting the restrooms there updated. So we're doing that.
Yeah, that's a big deal because they have to be, handicap accessible and all of that stuff. And some of these older buildings that were built several years ago, we'll say several years ago, need to be updated.
Yes.
So.
Although we're finding that the Square Dance Hall itself is apparently a very solid structure.
Yes, it is.
So it was a good deal.
Great.
It was a really good deal for us. It's got another aspect to it. Taxpayers may remember a couple of years ago, we tried a tax levy for improvements to get a new senior citizen center.
Yes.
It didn't work, and we kind of stubbed our toe and kind of learned our lesson. But we still have in the back of our minds that we'd like to have a new senior citizen center for the seniors in our county community.
Sure.
And we're going to have a design that's not quite so grandiose because we don't need a ballroom anymore, do we?
We don't. We have one.
We've got one. So it's going to be a rather more modest design for the new Senior Citizen Center. We're going to try to seek out funding sources which do not necessarily rely on the good graces of the Jackson County voters. So that's where there's a little bit of inside baseball there. So we're going to have this levy, and I didn't really know the difference between a renewal levy and a replacement levy until I had a nice chat with Tiffany Ridgway, our auditor,
sweet
county
Tiffany
auditor.
Ridgway. That's
sweet
right.
Tiffany. And she explained to me that a renewal levy is a levy where it's the same dollars.
Yep, keeps on
That
going.
it doesn't, even if the valuation goes up,
Yes.
the tax dollars stay the same. That's different from, I think the schools usually have replacement levies, and in that the amount goes up because the rate stays the same.
Because and what Bill's referring to is your property tax values
Yeah.
go up, and so this is based off of a percentage of your property taxes. So when your property tax evaluation goes up, your taxes go up. With a renewal levy, not so much. It just continues on as it has for
several years.
so for as many years as it's
Yeah,
been
it's a
there.
constant number of dollars collected,
Yes.
essentially. And
So you're already paying it. It just would continue on.
yeah, in light of the fact that most, if not all, taxpayers, real estate taxpayers, have received a letter in the mail about the valuation increases.
Mm-hmm.
In my work, I'm still doing just a little bit of legal work. I'm finding in estates and so on that those values are going up. So it's important that the voters know that this is a renewal levy, not a replacement levy, in that the tax dollars you're going to be paying stays the same. You've been paying those same tax dollars for several years now, so we're just keeping the operations going. That's what we're doing here in this tax levy. So that's kind of the
absolutely-
message I wanted to get out. I appreciate the time.
Sure, absolutely. And I think it's just very, very important for people to understand that the Senior Citizens Center is based on this levy that is already on the books. This will continue on if voted for. But these services, I think you said it earlier, everybody has a family member or a friend or somebody that's been impacted by senior services.
Sure. In my own case, someday I'll be a senior.
And he's going to square dance when he becomes one.
That'll be the
Dude,
day.
if you don't wear that dress, I want to see you with the frilly dress.
That's what. Yeah. That's likely, Jennifer. Thank you.
Anywho.
Okay, Jennifer, I've got a little information here.
Yeah. He's like, get us out of this situation.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead, John.
Okay. Some points I want to make here. The population in Jackson County of 65 and older is about 17.9%. And almost 19% of those live in poverty.
Yep.
So we have to, this is where a lot of times that we step in with the meals and transportation and things like that. The cost of a meal for a senior is about $12.63. The agency is reimbursed $5.29 on those meals, and the operation, or we go ahead and pay the remaining, the $7.34, and some of this is done through area on aging, some federal tax dollars, and what have you on the reimbursement. The other thing is the cost of a meal for one client is $3,600 a year. So this,
Whoa.
yes, this is something that it just keeps going. Just for instance, 12 clients cost us $42,000. So anyway, we have 3,500 clients. So you can see there is a need out there for this.
I'm just doing the math. I'm trying.
Yeah.
I
So
can't even do that math
yeah.
in my head.
so far this year, we've
That's a lot.
been able to add 45 new clients, and
So-
we still have clients on the waiting list, and they fill out an application.
I'm sorry. I had to. I thought Sweet Amanda was coming in too. So we're just gonna we're go with it. Go with it. I just have to message her back.
Okay. All right. Go ahead and message your friend. Okay, Bill touched lightly on transportation. Transportation is also have federal dollars in that. It's called Title III, and it's going to run out in our first quarter of next year. So this is another reason we need the levy to pass to have operating money for that. The other thing is, if we don't pass this levy, we are going to have to curtail a lot of services through our agency. The meals, we'll have to cut those back. Transportation, we'll have to cut that back. And anyone in business, you know how this fuel thing's running right now.
Oh,
It's just
yeah.
all over the place.
Yep.
Fueling up our vans and doing maintenance on them and what have you. Talking about transportation, there's a lot of times our drivers get up at 4:30 a.m. to transport. And these are our dialysis people.
Wow.
That's three times a
early.
week.
Man.
They have to have those people there early in the morning because you know it takes a long time to
Yes.
run dialysis. So it isn't so-called a 9-to-5 job
Sure.
for our people. And I want to say this. We have a tremendous group of employees at our facility. We really do. And a lot of these people that are working for us, they have retired from their normal jobs
Mm-hmm.
over the years, whatever they have done, whatever profession, and they've come over and said, we want to donate some time to your program. We really feel it's that important
Wow.
to give, and they're paid employees, but we have a wonderful, wonderful bunch of employees.
But it also, it's kind of win-win for maybe retirees. It's not all retirees, of course,
No.
but it's kind of win-win because it, gives them fellowship and a little money, but
Right.
also, gets them out and about and you get to be around people and help them. That's a great thing.
Yeah. And talking about being around people, our drivers for meals and transportation, a lot of times this is the only connection our clients have
Absolutely.
with people. Maybe it's a situation their family are out of town, far away, or maybe they're the last person in the family.
Mhm.
And we are, the connection from them to the agency to provide them a lot of different services that they need.
You are exactly right. And let's just be honest, at the end of the day, if someone is living alone and that driver shows up and they don't come to the door,
Yes.
that's weird. Let's check on that person.
Correct.
It's that daily, at least somebody is checking on you every day.
Correct. Correct.
And that is certainly important.
It is very important. And that's what I wanted to make a point. And we've been talking about it, that it's just a needed thing.
And we had a guest here on the program earlier in the week for the Feed My Starving Children program, where they bundle up the food here at the Christ Church and then, send it overseas. And we were talking about the fact that, there are, I think that their stat was like 6,000 or 7,000 children like a day die from starvation. I mean, it's like crazy numbers. And my point to that is we have seniors right here in our area that would not eat if it was not for this program. And that's
right.
not being dramatic.
let me show you.
That is a fact.
That is.
Creative
It is.
Media, formerly known
And they're
as
getting
Esports
a
Media,
hot meal
is an
and they're getting,
organization that focuses on topics
something
that are not often
nutritious
covered by
and they're
media.
being checked on.
Yes.
It
Very
also
much.
focuses on bringing
That's
news to
extremely
Jackson High
important.
School in a fun
Yes,
and
absolutely.
entertaining way. Get experience in
Thought I
many
heard James
different
say
media
one time
fields,
that the
such as
cost of a meal,
podcasting,
just the food part,
camera crew,
is like $12.63, something like that when they calculate
Video
it
editing.
out.
Yes.
Yes.
So
And-
that's a substantial
What do you
amount
think?
of food going out to the farm.
Right. And we have a dietitian that tries to get the correct things on
Well,
the
applications are
on the
available
menu so
in
you
Route
don't
200 and the library.
all
Sign
the
up and give it to Mr. Rickon.
vitamins and nutrients and what have you that they need.
Yeah, it's not gourmet.
creative
it's
media,
nutritious.
where business and
Yes,
imagination
it is.
meet.
Well, let's just say that, if it's good for you, it's not probably as exciting to eat, but it's good for you.
Right.
You tell us all about that.
Yeah.
You're in the
No.
biz. I've been in the biz for years.
Yes, you have been. You have to kind of figure out that happy medium in there somewhere, don't you? But no, and the transportation services, like, okay, again, those transportation services aren't there. How do people get to doctor's appointments?
Correct.
How do they get to the store? How do they get to do the things that they need to do on the daily to live and survive? If those are taken away, what do they do?
You know,
Correct.
I talked to Mike Evans one day, executive at Belicio,
Yeah.
recently retired. And Mike said, of course, he's always trying to get employees, trying to get the workforce in the plant.
Yes, for
And
sure.
he said there are some problems that we're running into and have run into for years. One of them is childcare. Not able to have childcare for people that are working during a shift.
And that's not a local problem. That's an America problem.
I think that's an American
Or
problem.
a worldwide problem.
And also transportation. A lot of people just don't have enough transport to get to the workplace.
We're too small to have public transportation,
and,
so
Of course, the other one is the one we're all aware of. Sometimes it's hard to get people to pass a drug test. But I think in our community, if we could look at transportation for those who need transportation, we'd be doing a good thing.
yes.
I'm also somewhat familiar with the YMCA, and they have vans. They have some transportation, not necessarily seniors, but I think they're alive to this problem of trying to get workers to the workplace.
Okay. Yeah.
And that's good for everybody.
Yep.
And that's something that we probably ought to keep in mind, that if we can share a little bit and maybe give somebody else a hand, just give them a hand to the workplace.
Yeah.
It would be a good thing. Or as YMCA is trying to do, organize some childcare during the shift for shift workers. That would be a good thing. Give somebody a hand up so that they can help themselves.
And again, that's win-win for everybody.
Yeah, and then when you're senior age and you're retired, then if you need an assistance, then we probably ought to give an assistance there too. So that's
Absolutely.
kind of what we're in here for.
Yep, absolutely. And so we just wanted to make you aware that the levy, not telling you one way or the other, you make up your own mind, and that's totally fine. But we want to make you aware of the facts.
Correct.
And these are the facts that senior services will be cut, and if this renewal doesn't pass. And again, the renewal means that nothing changes. You just keep on doing what you're doing tax-wise.
And I don't mean to in any way downplay the generosity of our voters. We have had these levies renew. Our operating levies have renewed
many
in the
times.
past.
Yes.
And we've always had a good response from our voters.
Yep.
So
Well,
I've been to most of the township meetings by now, and those township trustees look at us and say, what can we do? We can get out in the community and talk to the people that the trustees ordinarily talk to, the rural folk out in the community, and explain, among other things, this difference between renewal and replacement levy. They said they do that.
yeah, and absolutely. And as far as the levy goes, you want that renewal levy. You want to vote on the renewal levy because, nothing changes. But yeah, I mean, especially in the townships, the services that you all provide, my goodness, again, could be the difference between somebody not eating or being able to go to their doctor's appointment. And that's not okay. It's never okay for people to not be able to just live their daily lives. And everyone isn't blessed to be able to drive until they're 90 years old or 70 years old or whatever, and have tons of family to take them places. I mean, that's the reality of life.
Right.
So senior citizens is important. Plus it's, and I think we just touched on it, but you do the kind of house meals too, the congregate meals. So
Yes.
again, that's fellowship. That's fun. There's all kind of, because we're blessed here in the area to have a senior center, several senior citizen centers throughout the county. So Oak Hill has one, Wellston has one, Jackson has one. People don't have to travel so far.
Correct.
And then, of course, they can combine as well for some of the events. But, they do painting classes and all kind of the chair volleyball and all kind of fun
Right.
activities like that. That it's just good. It's all good.
It is. It is. Providing services.
Yeah. I mean, it's a lot better than sitting on your butt all day at home, by yourself. Who wants to do that?
Right.
I mean, I guess sometimes, but
Okay.
that's a whole other story.
Right.
I might also mention that every once in a while a rumor pops up that we're going to close this senior citizen center or that senior citizen.
Yep, heard
Not
that.
so. We are committed to maintain 3 senior citizen centers in the county: Jackson,
Yes.
Wellston, and Oak Hill, and we fully intend to continue doing that. We're fully cognizant of our folks up in Wellston and down in Oak Hill.
And the fun thing is about that is each center is kind of known for specific things, so they can travel. Even if you have the ability to travel to one of the other things, maybe this center does the chair volleyball and this one does something else. Like,
Right.
They can go round and round and have a lot of fun.
Right.
Good times.
So just keep in mind that it might be your neighbor, your relative, or someone that is using our services.
Absolutely. And I can't imagine that anybody watching this as we speak doesn't know somebody that benefits from the service from the Senior Citizens
Right.
Center.
Probably so, yeah.
Right. Okay.
All right. Well, you boys, that's awesome. And thank you for coming in to explain that. Did we have any questions, Dylan?
No, but I did want to ask real quick about this before you guys head out.
Oh, yes. John, we're going to put you on the spot and ask you because you put on a different hat and talk about the cruise-in.
Yes. I'm John Smith, the president of the Appalachia Old Car Club. And this Saturday, we're going to have a cruise-in, not a car show, just a cruise-in, just kind of a laid-back event from 5 to 7 at the Trinity Chapel Church. That is at 14545 State Route 93 Jackson. It's just down below Walmart on your right. And we just like anyone to have a classic car, bring it down. We're going to just have fun. We're going to have hot dogs and chips and drinks and cookies and desserts and things like that, and door prizes and what have you.
So there's food involved.
Right.
Yes.
So Jennifer will be there. Okay. The other thing is we did one in June, and I was very excited about it. We had over 60 cars there.
Yeah, I think you kind of shocked yourself, didn't you?
Yes, I did. Yes, I did.
That's where I remember you from. Okay, I did a video with you and Jeremiah.
That's right.
Okay,
You did.
now it's clicking. It just took a second. But now I
Right.
remember.
But even if you don't have a classic car, come on down, go through the lot, talk to the people that have a classic car,
Yeah.
find out the history about it, where it come from, what they've worked on, what they've done to it to bring it back to life.
I mean, the whole point of having one is to like enjoy it and show it to people and tell the stories
Yes.
about it. Like, for example, your car is really cool and important to you because you said it was your grandmother's,
Yes,
right?
they bought it brand new in 1940.
So that it's been in the family ever since. You've
Yes.
redone it, and that is like just a story all in itself.
Right. So, come on down, drive through, pull up, and look at our cars, and just talk to the people again, like I mentioned. Like I said, we did one in June. Now, our main event is the Wheels of Steel show we do at the Pig Iron Days,
Yes.
the first Saturday in August. But that's a car show. And this is a more laid back because we can, as the members of the car club, go around and talk to people. We're not judging and signing people up and things like that.
It's a social
It's-
event,
well, more of a social-
than
Right.
a competition.
Right.
Yeah.
So we really have fun at this. I started this, like I said, last June. I told the car club we need to get out and see the people, and the people see us and see our
Sure.
cars. And it's just been such a fantastic event. So come on down. We hope that the weather stays good, and we'll see you Saturday from 5 to 7.
and that's Trinity Chapel Church. That's the one
Yes.
that's like right down past Walmart.
Yes. on-
Big open parking lot. You can't
Yes.
miss it. It's,
right.
It's
We've
a
got
good.
plenty of room to park cars.
Yes.
Cars kind of get into your makeup in this country. I think you were having your saying what you're saying. I was remembering in high school, I was driving a 1947 Jeep with a muffler that kind of half worked and half didn't.
Yeah. Yeah.
So my wife Aggie, who was a high school girl then, she said she could always tell when I'm coming. She could hear the 47 Jeep coming up and we had a lot of fun with that car. Took it out in the country and blazed around. So yeah, cars are important to folks.
Yes. Yes. So
They
anyway,
are.
that's what I wanted to pass on to our listening audience this morning, that we're going to do that event, and hope to see as many people as we can.
And the important thing is, if, like you said, if there aren't cars, or if you don't have a classic car, no worries. Just come on out and hang out, eat a hot
right.
dog, and chill.
Right.
It's gonna be fun.
Yes, that's what we want to do, is have fun and meet more people.
Yep. Now, is this a rain or shine event? If the weather's a little bit,
If it's pouring down rain, most people don't want to bring their cars
Sure.
out. But I looked at the weather forecast this morning, and supposedly we won't have any rain that evening.
there you go.
So
It will not rain on your parade, right?
that's right.
No, I was thinking back about, you were talking about your high school Jeep. So do you know what happened to it? Like where it is, or?
It died an honorable death. I don't know.
Because if you still had it, it'd probably be worth a lot of money.
Oh, yeah. And that actually had a few things wrong with it. It was hard to shift. That's one thing and another. But it was, young folks out in an old 47 Jeep. Sure. Good stuff.
Correct. And you think
Okay.
about that. And so my high school car, one of my friends has it now. And I had to laugh because, back then it was, a cool car. Like it was fairly new, and it was a Camaro convertible. And I saw a picture of, he let his son take it to prom a few years ago, and it had historical tags on it. I was like, no, something wrong with that.
Yeah.
Well, I remember
It was a real kick in the what.
I worked in the municipal pool one summer out during high school, and one of our classmates got a GTO. Do you remember a GTO?
Oh yes, my little Davy has one, a '69 GTO.
And he won't bring it to the car show.
He won't bring it out of the garage.
Right, Dave, if you're listening.
Yeah, Davy.
Bring it out.
Bring it out. Everyone would like to see it. I was blessed to get to drive that car once.
If next time he has it out, I want you to do one thing.
What?
Sit in the back seat.
No one has ever sat in the back seat of that car.
I know. He's
The
told me
seat
that.
belts are all like still wrapped up perfectly. Yeah, it's ridiculous,
Yes.
but pretty cool.
Yeah.
So the GTOs were cool. I mean, there's just like, I don't know, like, dang it, we had to get all safe and stuff. So now cars are boring. Like cars used to be super cool and unique.
Yeah.
And you knew if, the Oldsmobile was driving down the road, you knew exactly what that car was, or a GTO or a Camaro or whatever. And now they all just look like.
Well, at my age, we just want comfort, Jennifer.
You mean at the senior citizens age?
Yes.
So when will you be doing your first line dancing, square dancing?
That'll be a while yet.
Oh, okay. You're not that senior? I'm just kidding.
Of course you are.
But
That's-
okay. Well, so you guys, lots of stuff to talk about today. Cruising this coming Saturday, so you can get out for that. And senior levy. Listen, early voting is going on right now. I don't know that a lot of people understand that, because it just seems like it just fell upon us so quickly. But Election Day, November, 7th?
Yeah, I think the methods are you can early vote in Jackson at the Board of Elections. Just walk in and vote.
You can.
I hope to do that today.
Yes.
Or you could ask for an absentee ballot, I think. There's an application for an absentee ballot, which is by mail.
You can, and that's handy dandy too. I mean, you just fill out your ballot, you throw it back in the mail, and there you go.
I've talked to some voters who were not real thrilled with the idea of crowding into the Jackson High School. I think the townships are all voting in Jackson High School gym, something like that.
Yes.
So it's going to be a little crowded. So it might be a good idea to vote early.
Yeah,
Figure out a way to vote
absolutely.
early.
And it's just because you can do it at your convenience. You're not dedicated to one day, which is fantastic. I did run up to the high school this past election, and it went very, very smoothly, except for that's a whole other story. The poor guy that was standing in front of me went to put his ballot in the machine, and the machine just blew up. And everyone was like getting mad at him. He's like, I didn't do it. I swear. I did not break the machine on purpose. I swear. But anyway, they were able to finagle around really quickly because they have methods for that and whatever. So, but no, it's really smooth up there. If you want to do the vote in person, I think a lot of people make an event out of that and then go out to dinner or whatever on election day. That's super cool. But you also have that ability to not too late to still get that absentee ballot in the mail and or vote early at the Board of Elections, which is now not where the new 6th Sense is going to be. It is at the Job and Family Services building you would not believe how many people show up to vote at our new building.
Yeah. It's behind it in the backside of that. They've got signs,
Job and Family Services.
signs up.
There's a green awning behind the building. So go behind the building there on South Street and you can see where to go.
You talk about the ceremony of voting. Phyllis Handley, who was Jackson County Assistant Recorder, Deputy Recorder for years and years. Wonderful woman.
Loved her.
Taught me all about land titles. She used to say that on election day, you get up at 7 o'clock and you vote. First thing. And why is that, Phyllis? Well, you never can tell. You might be in an automobile accident that day, and at least you voted.
I can totally hear her sassing and saying that too.
Yeah.
Well, she's an incredible lady.
Yeah, she was a great one.
Yeah, she was. Worked a really long time too.
Yes,
she did.
did.
Yeah. She was a young lawyer would be in the. I remember Mark Oxenbein and I learned titles at the same time, and she used to call us her boys.
Aw.
We'd be trying to thrash around. Where's this edition of Oak Hill? They're all Davis and all Evans.
I know. Everybody has the same name.
But she'd pull out the book and show us how it's all arranged, and we learned that way. So yes, she was a fine woman.
And now you can do the same for somebody else, right?
Well, I'd like to, sure.
Okay.
John's like, get me out of this situation. And also, if you need a fire extinguisher, call John.
Thank you.
He does that also.
Wear a lot of different hats.
Yes, absolutely. And if you need legal work done, you can call Bill, even though he says he's retired.
He's retired.
No, you're
Thanks
not.
anyway, Jennifer.
You're not, because people like me won't let you retire.
Well, when an old client says, "Can
Hey,
you do this?"
Bill,
or can you do
I need help. No, I get it. It's just don't want to take on the load that you used to take on.
Yeah, that was a load. Yeah.
That's a whole lot. All right. Well, boys, thank you for coming in. I'll call you boys, just, because.
Thank you.
Yeah. Because you're cute little boys.
Here we are.
Yeah. So if anybody has any questions about the cruise in, who do they contact?
Contact me,
Okay.
John Smith, at 418-5880.
And if anybody has questions about the senior levy or concerns or would like to discuss, who would they contact?
Probably Susan Morgan at the Senior Citizen Center.
Okay.
She can refer them to any information they need. Sure.
Can you just like look up Jackson County Senior or Jackson Senior Center or?
Sure.
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
Google it. Sure.
Okay. All right. So there you go. Now you know all of that information. All right. Well, thanks, guys. We'll let you get out of here. I know that you have other hats to put on today, and we will let you go. So.
Thanks for the time, Jennifer. It's been fun.
Yes.
It's always fun being here.
Yes, it is. Okay.
Even if I'm gonna force you guys to square dance. You know
I,
this.
yeah, I didn't know what to say about that. I still don't.
That's awesome. All right. Okay, Dylan, would you pull up the weather forecast? We'll let these guys get out of here for the day, and
Make
then
a good one.
yeah, make it a good one.
Weather forecast.
Thanks, Dylan. Is it a good one?
Yes, it looks wonderful.
It looks pretty good,
Looks
doesn't
pretty
it? Yep. It might be a little bit of sweatshirt weather, but that's okay.
That's fine.
Yep. All right. Thanks, guys.
Thank
Have
you.
a great day. All right. Let's do this weather forecast, and then we'll be back on the other side with, I don't know, whatever Dylan has planned. He's like, great. Thank you, guys. All right. So today is October 19th, and it is a Thursday, but they are calling for about 50% chance of rain today. And it kind of drizzled this morning, so I don't know whether it's done or whether it's going to come back. But highs today around 70 degrees, so not too shabby. Then tomorrow on your Friday, they are calling for some showers, but and a little bit cooler temperatures. So I don't know. They're calling kind of like a mix of sun and rain. I don't know. It's very, very strange. Highs tomorrow 61, lows dipping down to 44 for your football Friday nights. On Saturday, partly cloudy skies, highs of 62. Sunday, partly cloudy, highs of 56. And about the same as Monday rolls through the beginning of your work week. And then as we get into the middle of the week, looking like a little bit warmer temperatures, probably a little more seasonable for this time of the year. And that rain looks like it moves out as we get into the weekend. So we will take that. Well, hi, Dylan.
Hi. I'm confused by this microphone. There we go. It's got this weird clamp. It's not a very normal mic
It's
at all.
very stiff, shall we say.
Definitely.
Yes. So what are you up to?
All right. So I was planning up something back there, and I was looking
He's always
online.
plotting.
I was looking online for this image I wanted to use from my esports team. And then I saw this photo of my face when you search Jackson High School esports. And I was like, what the heck? So
You're
here in a moment,
famous.
I'm going to show you why my face was there. But I just thought that was the weirdest thing in the world.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing scarier than Googling yourself and like.
But that's the
What's
scary
gonna
part.
come
I
up?
didn't Google myself.
You Googled esports.
Yeah.
Oh my.
I guess I made my mark.
I guess you're the face of Jackson esports.
Apparently so. And it wasn't a pretty picture either. I was like leaning over looking at a computer, very confused.
Well, that's all
that
right.
was something. But yeah, so here in a moment, Pete Wilson should be walking through the door and he's going to do some news for us.
Very good. We look forward to that because Pete always keeps us up to date on what's about to go on or what has gone on. Hey, my husband had jury duty today and that got canceled. So if you had jury duty today, you didn't have to go. I don't know what the case was, but.
Never had to do jury duty and I'm glad about that. I'm guessing as like I get older eventually I'm going to be pulled into that.
Just wait.
Yeah, not
It's
yet.
a coming. If you're registered to vote. Are you registered to vote?
I am not.
Then you won't have to do jury duty.
Oh, that's a pretty cool workaround.
I think that jury duty is a fair thing for having your voice heard.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. Yeah.
Eventually I'll
it's a
get registered. I just kept forgetting.
So no, I had to do jury duty one time. Well, I've been called to jury duty several times, but it's always gotten canceled. So a couple of years ago, I finally got to actually have to show up to jury duty. And what they do is they bring, a big pool of people in and then you're interviewed and the prosecutor and the defense attorney choose who the jury is going to be.
Oh.
So we're all sitting there in a room and this was during COVID, right? So we've got like the masks on and everything. And we sat there and we sat there and we sat there and the judge was conferring with the attorneys and all of this. And finally he comes out and says, "You're all dismissed. The defendant didn't bother to show up for his court date."
Oh.
In the legal world, that's a great big fat no.
Yeah, that seems like a big no-no.
Needless to say, it did not end well for the defendant. But
Yeah.
I also did not have to serve on jury duty, which is great.
Well, I guess pros and cons.
But I
A
did
big
have
con
to
for
show
him.
up. Oh no, I showed up with like my bag with like books, and I was like, oh God, is this gonna be like all day? Like I didn't know. So, but it was fine. But yeah, didn't end well for the guy that didn't bother to show up to his own court date.
Well, this is pretty off topic from that, but
Yeah.
I'm gonna go ahead and show you my video, and then when we get back, we should have Pete Wilson.
Okay.
Remember which hotkey it is. I always forget these.
That's why
There
you
it
make a
is.
list, right?
I did.
See, smart guy.
That has never happened before in our placement tournaments. That is insane.
When Dylan Euler first joined the Jackson East Sport Club his freshman year, he didn't play any of the games they offered.
And then I just started playing and got decent enough to join the varsity level.
Now, he's a team captain. Dylan is just one of 50 players on the Jackson East Sport team. His time with the team allowed him to build strong friendships and play at a competitive level. The Jackson East Sport team competes against other Ohio high schools who are a part of East Sport Ohio, a nonprofit organization created by teachers who wanted to provide students an opportunity to be a part of a school team. Esports has grown increasingly popular at the high school level, such as here at Jackson High School, that even the Ohio High School Athletic Association is beginning to provide support. On January 17th, the OHSAA announced they were teaming up with eSport Ohio to support and promote its annual state tournament held in May. The support has team administrator Eric Siders and many others hopeful for what this could mean for esports as a whole.
That legitimacy with parents, though, would be a good thing to have, so parents know that this isn't just their kids playing video games. There are constructive skills and there are benefits to playing esports in this competitive way.
Siders says while he doesn't know what the support will look like, he's hopeful esports will soon be on the same level as other recognized sports like basketball and volleyball. Reporting for Newswatch, I'm Jack Demler in Jackson.
And look what our sweet Dylan started up at Jackson, or not started, I guess, per se, but certainly helped develop. And now this esports thing is like a team sport, like basketball and football and all of that. I mean, that's so cool.
It's really catching on everywhere.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep. A lot of these schools have esports teams, either as an extracurricular activity, and I wouldn't be surprised if it gets into the curriculum at some point.
You got it. Absolutely. Right. So Pete is here. What is going on? You have any dirt for us today?
Dirt. I have some fentanyl for you.
Oh. Okay. I'd rather have dirt, I think.
Okay. Well, we hear these reports through our different law enforcement agencies about traffic stops, searches at houses, whatever, that leads to the discovery of fentanyl. And that is, the deadliest drug that's out there right now.
Yes, it is.
You hear a lot of publicity and on the national news about it maybe coming over the border.
Yep.
Out of China or whatever, through the southern border with, all the problems associated there. And it's certainly everywhere. I remember, time flies. I don't want to say it hasn't been that long ago where they were talking locally. Well, we haven't had fentanyl here yet, but we know it's coming.
Right. It's kind of like COVID.
It has.
Worse.
It has for sure.
Yeah, it sure has.
But the Ohio State Highway Patrol reported, this was out of Columbus actually, but this was in Jackson County, so a little bit of a lag in us finding out about this. But the traffic stop was back on Friday, October the 6th.
Okay.
And it was just before 6:30 p.m. somewhere on U.S. Route 35 in Jackson County. They stopped the vehicle for a marked lanes violation, meaning somebody was driving in both lanes or driving in the wrong lane when they made a turn or whatever. But anyway, during a traffic stop, criminal indicators, that's the phrase that they use to justify a further search. Criminal indicators were observed, and a drug-sniffing canine then alerted to this vehicle. Troopers conducted then their probable cause search and on this SUV, and they located 58 grams of fentanyl. That's quite a bit.
Holy moly.
That is worth, even though, fentanyl seems to be pretty accessible, that's still worth $7,500, that amount of fentanyl, according to the patrol. They also found a loaded handgun in the driver's side door. That driver has been identified as John R. Ward of Rochester, Michigan. He was taken into custody and was at least initially held there in our local jail, the Jackson County Correctional Facility. He will face charges of trafficking in drugs and possession of drugs. Any additional charges could be coming to, as that case develops. But that was out on our highway. Oof. Of course, U.S. Route 35, known as a kind of like an area where, a lot of people are coming through, and there's been many drug-related.
Yes. There have been.
But many traffic stops have led to drug-related arrests
a lot of them.
Here in Jackson County, I'm sure along that U.S. Route 35 corridor. Speaking of COVID, I didn't have this in my stack, but since you mentioned it, made me remember this. This is certainly worth mentioning. They announced yesterday, Susan Morgan, the executive director of the Jackson County Senior Citizen Center, announced that all 3 senior citizen centers, Jackson, Wellston, and Oak Hill, would be closed today, Thursday, and also tomorrow, Friday, due to COVID-related issues.
Gotcha.
Now, I've not talked with Susan, but so I don't know whether this is, a staff thing or a senior thing of some of the seniors that use the centers, or it's an overall thing, and they were just concerned because you have the aged population, having congregate type things. They do expect to reopen on Monday. That's the 23rd. But COVID-related issues involved in the temporary closing of the centers. So I believe, as far as I know, the transportation services are still working. Maybe John would have known, our board president who was just here. But as far as the centers themselves, and remember we have them in all 3 towns, everything is off today at the centers.
Okay.
And Thursday is the day that the Ohio Department of Health updates COVID-related information.
Okay.
So we will check on that. Remember that we reported several weeks ago that Jackson County was number 1 for 2 weeks in a row.
Yeah.
And I've been negligent in not following up on that. But, it seems to me you're out there as much as I am. It seems like to me it's business as normal everywhere.
Yeah, I don't see much change.
Yeah, I mentioned to a couple of other folks in the news department the stark difference between how COVID is being responded to now versus how it was just a couple years ago. And, we're talking about a lot of cases, at least there was 2 or 3 weeks ago.
Well, and I think it's just, I think, we're at the point now where people are looking at it just the same as a common cold or, the flu. Like, I know very few people that make it a year without, getting something.
Right.
Some kind of funk, it just happens. So I think when people get this now, it's probably not even that reported. Mm-hmm. And it's just, I'm just going to stay home for a few days and.
Right. And of course, there's lots of COVID self-tests that you can take as well. And, if you're not feeling well, you may go to the doctor and find out that's what it is or whatever. But as far as I know, other than what's happened here at the Senior Citizen Center, just really not a lot of restrictions or closures.
No,
because
not
of
at
the
all.
Number of cases.
Yeah.
So.
And I think it's just like you just hope that people are responsible about it. If you feel like crap, stay home.
Mm-hmm.
If you test yourself and you test positive, stay home for however many days. I think it's 5 now or whatever. Just because it's not about you, it's about not spreading it to somebody else. But the same thing should go through with the flu and a cold and every other thing. Just stay the heck home for a few days.
Right, exactly. And Jennifer, I wish I could give you this information. Maybe the next time on the news, I'll be able to do that. I know that a lot of the local health departments and other medical outlets were about ready to receive the new COVID vaccine.
Yes.
I know the health department has.
Yes.
And so I'm not sure whether there's specific dates or appointments or whatever, but I know that they have put out a news release that I haven't looked at yet, but I know it's here. The COVID vaccines are starting to arrive. And so if you want to get that vaccine, of course, it's a voluntary thing for the most part. It will be available locally.
Yeah. And if you just have, your yearly checkup, I tend to do my yearly checkup every year in October, which I have to call and schedule, by the way. But, just when you're doing that, have your doctor give you the, if you want the flu shot and the COVID, if you want all that stuff, they can do it right there and it's all over with.
Right, exactly.
So.
All right, some other things to talk about. One of the stories I know for sure, it's a fluid situation, things can change, but I know that this is likely to be a front page story in our Saturday edition, and that is the news that came out of the most recent meeting of the Jackson City Board of Education. Phil Howard, who is the superintendent, and Jared Bunting, who is the treasurer, as they indicated at the previous board meeting, they kind of gave a financial analysis of the district.
Okay.
And, it's just like if you operate a business or your home, you're always looking ahead to see.
You should be.
Yeah. So, you don't
Yep.
you don't have a crisis situation. They always do something called a 5-year forecast. The school districts do. It's something that is a routine thing. Well, Jared Bunting, the treasurer, and Phil Howard, as they look ahead, they are warning the school board, and they did this at a public meeting, so it's going to be in the paper, that based on the latest 5-year forecast, the district will be in the red by 2028. Now, they're saying, of course, things could change, but they are reliant, the local districts around here are very heavily reliant on state funding. Mm-hmm. There isn't percentage-wise a lot of local funding that goes in there. And what Superintendent Howard is saying is, several years ago, you remember there were some cuts in the Jackson City School District when they ran into, when they had to tighten their financial belt. Well, Phil Howard was saying, hey, listen, we can't go a whole lot farther on that now. So if we still have a money problem going forward, what are we going to do?
Sure.
He feels that they don't have a spending problem. He feels they have a revenue problem. So you're dependent on state funding, which actually turned out to be a little bit better in this biennium than what they feared at the beginning. But still, even with that, looking ahead, they're looking at, I'm going to pull this figure up here. They're looking at a $1.5 million deficit by 2028 if things continue as they go. It's a projection. It's not anything that's in concrete. So they're asking the district, the board, what do you want to do? Do you do something now? Do you kind of, wait and see if things change or whatever?
Yeah.
But what this is implying is possibly some sort of extra local funding. Now, there are two things that a school district in Ohio can do that I know of. I think I'm not wrong speaking on this. Property tax, of course, and income tax. Schools can do an income tax, and that's what a lot of schools do because they seem to be more passable than a local property tax.
Okay.
So now they didn't make any decisions on that, but they heard that, this may have to be dealt with at some point, sooner or later, or, you sit tight and wait and see if things change. But they put it out there to the board and they put it out to the public at the same time.
Gotcha.
So that story, by the way, will be in our Saturday paper. A couple of other things. I want to go on to sports real quick. Because there is a lot going on in sports, and we're talking not just about football, but fall sports. Last evening, the Jackson High School boys soccer team lost in the tournament at home to Fairland, 3-0, so they're done.
Aww.
Coach Lee Lord's team had a pretty good season, 9-6-3, but they did lose to Fairland in a sectional tournament championship game. Tonight, as we know, because we talked to the girls and Coach Karina, the girls will be playing at home in a sectional championship against Logan Elm. Remember, our girls' soccer team has lost only one game all season.
The very first game.
The very first one. And they won the Frontier Athletic Conference Championship. So a lot of excitement around this team. And you'll be able to see them one more time at home. That's tonight.
It's a home game.
That game will be at 6 p.m. We want to congratulate the Wellston Lady Rockets volleyball team. They were the lower seed team, meaning that they were the underdog. They went on Tuesday evening to Lynchburg Clay over there in Highland County, and they beat Lynchburg Clay in 3 straight games.
Nice.
So they have, on that strength of that victory, they have advanced to the sectional championship game tonight at South Webster.
All
so
right.
that will be at 7 p.m. at South Webster, not too far for the Wellston folk to travel. Wellston will be a big underdog this time because South Webster is ranked number 1 in the district. But Wellston they've given themselves the opportunity to play South Webster tonight. So congratulations to them. The Jackson and Vinton County girls volleyball teams both lost on Monday night, so they're done. Jackson lost at Warren Local, and Vinton County lost at Marietta. Also on Tuesday, the Oak Hill Lady Oaks lost at Meigs. So we have one volleyball team left. That's Wellston. One soccer team left. That's the girls' soccer team for Jackson. Of course, looking ahead tomorrow night, we have football. It is the last week of the regular season, Jennifer, and two of our local teams will be gunning for undisputed championships. They clinched a share of the championship last Friday. We're speaking of the Jackson Ironmen and the Vinton County Vikings. Both teams will be home tomorrow night.
Cool.
So I'm not sure we'll be on the news tomorrow because I know we got guests. So I do want to tell you if you're not going to the game, listen in. Chance of rain tomorrow. The advanced forecast I saw indicated it may clear up by
the
kickoff
evening.
time.
Yeah.
Right. But Jackson will be playing Chillicothe. That's their big league rival in the final game of the regular season. And Vinton County will be playing arch rival Wellston, but they will be hosting them. If Jackson wins, if Vinton County wins, they are the undisputed champions. Jackson in the Frontier Athletic Conference and Vinton County in the Tri-Valley Conference Ohio Division. Also tomorrow night, it will be the last regular season game. Of course, the Rockets playing Vinton County. The Oak Hill Oaks will be playing Southern Northwest at home in their regular season finale, and that will be the end of their regular season. You know, I speak about regular season because Jackson and Vinton County have clinched playoff berths. They'll both be in the playoffs for sure. Wellston is not mathematically eliminated, but for them to get in, they would probably have to beat Vinton County, which will be a tall order because the Vikings have only lost one game.
Yep.
Of course, the Rockets have been much improved this year, and of course, it is a rivalry game, and you never know.
You never know.
But by Saturday unofficially, by Sunday officially, we will know who is in the playoffs and who is playing who and where.
Awesome.
Jackson will for sure get a home game, no matter what happens tonight. Vinton County is on the edge of getting a home game or not having a home game, but regardless, they will be in the playoffs.
Okay.
So that's something to watch for, too. It will officially be announced on Sunday, and unofficially, it's mathematical. People figure it out ahead of time. So we'll let you know all about that. But, of course, every football game Friday night will be on the air on our 4 different radio stations. And, of course, you can get us through the app and streaming as well.
Well, very good, Pete, and best of luck to the Jackson Iron Ladies soccer team tonight as, they try to continue on their streak, that's for sure, and they're going to do great.
Right, and Dylan, we do have Tiffany Ridgway in tomorrow, don't we?
Yes.
Okay. That should be a very interesting program, and we certainly thank Tiffany for being willing to come on because it's a complicated thing she's going to talk about. That is the reappraisal, which affects every property owner.
The evil reappraisal.
Right. It only happens every 7 years. And once again, your property taxes are probably going to go up because of inflation, overall property values. You know what happened to real estate in the last year or two.
Yes.
I mean, even here in little old Jackson County, you've seen the prices for houses and property go up quite a bit.
Yep.
That's a national thing. And so property taxes are going to go up because of that. And also, if you've made improvements to your property, it's worth more now.
Yep.
So, your taxable value and your appraisal value for real estate purposes may be different, but they are linked, of course. Yep. So she will explain how all that works, how you can look ahead of time to see what your property taxes will be next year. There is a process where you can speak with the office about an adjustment if you feel that it's due, and then there's a formal appeals process after that. I'm not going to steal our thunder, but it's very important. It's important to know this ahead of time.
It is.
What you have, and if you think you have a case that you're being charged too much, there is a process to where you can at least appeal, and you need to know about that.
Yes, absolutely.
So Tiffany will be here, on Main Street TV.
That's right, and we look forward to having her to try to make sense of what can be a very confusing situation.
Right. They reappraise only every 7 years, and they do what they call a triennial update every 3 years, which is, not nearly as involved.
That's right.
All right. Well, very good.
All right. Well, thanks, Pete. Okay. Well, have to get out of here for the day. We appreciate you all so much for tuning in, and we'll be right back here tomorrow with a Jackson County Auditor, Tiffany Ridgway. We look forward to having her. So we'll see you then. Bye-bye.